Scott, good to see you, brother. How you doing? You're the first one in today. How you been? How was your day? It was good. The meeting I had was cancelled, and it was postponed for Wednesday. So I was preparing the whole day for a meeting that never happened, because the meeting got postponed to Wednesday, same time. But preparing for that meeting gave me an idea for something else, which was good. It worked out at the end. But Wednesday, I have to do the same meeting I was supposed to do today. But good and all. How's your day, Scott? Hello, brother. Comatose, good to see you. So how you doing? Lena, good to see you. So how you doing? Lena, I've seen your message regarding MEXC not accepting the UK citizens. I'll look for an alternative for you. I'll send it to you after the live show. Paul, good to see you. So how you doing? Hope all is well. Yeah, I've been doing okay. Thanks for asking. Let's go, Scott. Well, Miles, evening. Toby, good to see you. So how you doing? Evening. How you been? Hey, what's up, Miles? What's up, CMF? Kerry, good to see you. So how you doing? How you been, brother? How's your day been? Good. Lena, how's your day been? Hi, Miles of CMF. Dennis, good to see you. So how you doing? Vibe, how you doing? Good to see you as well. You will be prepared now, correct? Yeah, definitely. Good day, Miles and CMF. Mike, good to see you. So how you doing? Come on, good to see you, so brother. How you doing? How you been? Good evening, brother Miles and the CMF family. Funky brother, good to see you. How you doing? Evening, Miles and family. Hope you are well. You're all well. T, good to see you. How you doing? Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you. Morning, how you doing? Scott, let's go. We all missed you, bro. Funky brother, let's go. Miss you too. Missed everyone. Evening, Miles and CMF. Manny, good to see you. How you doing? So, let's do a breakdown of what we're going to go through on tonight's episode of the CMF Live. And this is episode 185 of the CMF Live. So, on tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about the Federal Reserve. We're going to be talking about the Federal Reserve because a Fed member has came out again and said what's possibly going to be happening towards the end of the year on the matters of essentially of rate cuts. Are we going to be having rate cuts or not? Then we're going to go for the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Trust Wallet, because Trust Wallet has just become compromised. And I'm going to tell you how Trust Wallet became compromised, and about roughly 200,000 accounts were compromised on Trust Wallet. Then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Coinbase, because Coinbase filed in a FOIA against the US regulators, which means the SEC, regarding banks and crypto assets, because Coinbase is fed up with Gary Gensler meddling with the banks when it comes to crypto assets. Then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Flash Cryptocurrency Initiative, a step from the Russian government. So we're going to talk about BRICS countries. We're going to talk about Russia. We're going to talk about a data center that's going to be put up across multiple BRICS countries. And what could that possibly mean? Then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Minneapolis. Minneapolis Fed researchers label Bitcoin a threat. We recently had the EU a few days ago talk about how Bitcoin could be a possible threat, and that maybe taxing Bitcoin higher or banning Bitcoin and so on is what the EU was thinking. Not the entire EU, but some members were thinking, and now Minneapolis is thinking the same thing. So we're going to go through that on tonight's live show as well. Then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live regarding VanEck. Now, if you don't know, VanEck for the longest time has had essentially a Solana ETN or an ETP, which now they're adding staking capabilities to it, but only for the European market space. So we're going to go through that on tonight's live show as well. Then we're going to talk about the SEC division to intensify scrutiny of crypto assets in 2025. According to the SEC, or should we put it as according to Gary Gensler, he said he's not going to be slowing down in 2025. Gary Gensler is still going to go full throttle with the SEC, cracking down, in his words, on security assets in 2024, hoping that man actually gets fired by the time we make it to 2024. Then we're going to talk about on tonight's live show regarding BlackRock and their Bitcoin ETFs. And then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live regarding the EU launching a trusted investor network. And what could that possibly mean for the crypto sector? And then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding the XRP Ledger and MetaMask. And then we're going to go through the news topic of one of the oldest and biggest, essentially, pension funds in the United Kingdom joining the blockchain space. which is massive. And then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding the Ripple, essentially, network, the XRP Ledger. There's a massive surge happening on the XRP Ledger. And it's not what you're thinking, as in transaction volumes. When can I see the price movement? No, what I am talking about when it comes to the XRP Ledger is wallets. There's a massive surge happening on wallets on the XRP Ledger. And the timing of it is quite a bit interesting. So we're going to go through that on tonight's live show as well. And then we're going to go through the news topic on regarding Chris Larsen funding, essentially, Kamala Harris's campaign that's going on for the next presidential election. And then we're also going to talk about a perspective from essentially Brad, CEO of Ripple, on essentially where does Ripple stand? In the middle, or backing Trump, or backing Kamala, or generally are they in the middle? So mixture of topics to go from tonight's live show regarding the Federal Reserve, regarding BRICS, regarding one of the oldest pension funds inside the United Kingdom joining the blockchain space, an EU fund that's starting up Bitcoin, maybe on the possible verge of a ban in one of the states inside the United States. So quite a mixture of news to go from tonight's live show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, this is the CMF Live. My name is Miles. I'm your host, as I am every single night on this live. This live starts at 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. And we are right now live, just as usual, on X and on YouTube. Thank you so much. I just want to say to everyone right now who's watching, everyone also who's liking this live right now on X. I'm getting notifications from X. Thank you so much to everyone on X who's liking this live show, retweeting this live show, and putting a comment on the X videos. And thanks so much to everyone on YouTube who's watching this right now, putting likes on the video as well. Now, in the CMF Live show, which stands for Crypto Miles Family, I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world every single night, for essentially on the topics of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, because it all plays a vital role regarding the world transforming into a digital era. And the disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So, if you're watching this for the first time ever, welcome to the CMF Live. And if you're a regular, let's go CMF. Thanks so much to every single one of you that joins in every single night. Now, before we go for the first news topic, let's go inside the comment section first. By the way, we do Q&As on this live as well, which means if you have any comments, if you have any questions whatsoever, put them down inside the comment section. I'm reading everyone's questions one by one, giving short and sweet, simple answers to everybody to get through everyone. I shout out your name as well when I read out the questions so you can understand whose question I'm answering next. Let's go inside the comment section first before we start off with the first news. And the first news is relatable to the Fed. A Fed member has decided to do his speech. So we're going to go through what his speech was, the bullet points of his speech, not the entire speech, the vital parts. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section. Let's see where we were. Lena, good, thanks. Let's go. Good morning, Miles and family. Mav, good to see you. How you doing? JP, good evening, Miles and all CMF. Good to see you, JP. How you doing? Evening, Miles and CMF. Hope your meeting went well. Jason, good to see you. How you doing? The meeting got actually rescheduled for Wednesday. Good evening, Miles and CMF. But I appreciate that. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Free and Forever. Good to see you. How you doing? Anna, hello, Miles and family. Good to see you. Anna, how you doing? Susie, hello, Miles and family. Good to see you. Susie, how you doing? Hello, Sir Miles. Golden Dragon, good to see you. How you doing? The Weasel has to go. I agree. Facts. Scott, absolutely. CMF, if you love what we are going on here, please help to share the live. Let's go, Scott. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Orphan, good to see you. How you doing? Miles, do you think XRP will miss out on this bull run again, as the SEC might hold them back? No. The run that we're going to be having is going to be an institutional run, which is an XRP run, essentially. So XRP is not going to be missing out on this run at all. If all the other runs that missed out on, good. I mean, it didn't have much going on for it in the previous runs. The previous runs that were going through in the bull run was a surge that happened during COVID times. And then we had a surge happening for the NFT market space and a surge happening for the meme coin space. But the next clientele, or the clientele that's already entering the market space inside the crypto space, is institutional clientele, which is Ripple's basic clientele. So no, it's not going to be missing out at all. Everything happens on a coordinated time frame. Always remember there's no such thing as coincidence when it involves a large amount of money in this world. It's all coordinated. Hello to my CMF on YouTube. Good to see you as well, Scott, on YouTube. If you're enjoying the live and love, let's share it. Let's go, Scott. How you doing, Adam? Good evening, Miles and CMF. How's it going? It's going great, Callie. So, first news topic on tonight's live show is regarding the Fed. Federal Reserve member advocates for interest rate cuts. Now, we're going to go through, are we going to still be expecting any sort of rate cuts this year? Multiple Fed members have came out and said, some said we're going to be expecting rate cuts. Some said we're going to be expecting 25 basis points. We have Elizabeth Warren keep on asking for 75 basis essentially points. Rate cuts in general are good because people will tend to run towards hedging against traditional assets, because when we have rate cuts, that means we're having serious inflation issues, which means people will tend to run towards untraditional assets. So they'll run towards either gold, silver, or crypto assets. So rate cuts are good. The last rate cut we had, the market reacted in a positive way. Everybody saw that as factual. Now, Federal Reserve member Lori Logan called for gradual interest rate cuts due to current economic uncertainties. She indicated that if the economy progresses, the policy interest rate reductions could follow a steady trajectory. Logan expressed that reducing interest rates towards neutral levels could help the Fed achieve its objectives. Now, the Fed's objectives is to be around 2% targets. However, she noted that the economic shocks, such as inflation or unemployment, could impact the process. The Fed's interest rate cuts may heighten expectations for cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and any other cryptocurrencies. Logan also emphasized that different types of economic shocks could influence the pace and the endpoint of normalization. Therefore, essentially, she suggested that the central bank might need to keep its roadmap flexible as economic conditions change. Following the Fed's interest rate discussions, Bitcoin gained an upward momentum. Bitwise's CIO even reached out by saying, Matt, in other words, he predicted that Bitcoin's price could reach 6 figures. This outlook reflects increased institutional confidence in digital assets. Now, essentially, Matt, the Bitwise CIO, did not give a timeline for the 6-figure Bitcoin, but he said, we're reaching that point. We're going to reach that target somewhere down the line. Not by next week or next month, but most likely in a couple of years is what he's estimating. Considering economic uncertainty over in a decade, considering economic uncertainties, gradual interest rate cuts may help the Fed achieve its goal, said Lori Logan. Finally, markets appear to be pricing in the possibility of Fed rate cuts. Now, if markets are pricing in the possibility of Fed rate cuts, that means everybody's prepared, which means the moment the rate cuts come out, funding is going to start going towards assets like crypto or gold or silver to hedge against the inflation scenario, if the market's already pricing that in. Now, also what I heard and saw today, which is not in my notes that I'm going to be reading up, but this is, an honorable mention, let's just say, is on Bloomberg. Today on Bloomberg, I saw an interview that was happening with Wall Street. So a member of Wall Street was on Bloomberg today, and this man said, in his own words, that essentially Wall Street and any type of large manufacturing businesses or corporations inside the United States have already priced in Donald Trump winning the presidential election. This was mentioned on Bloomberg today. And I also saved that essentially video on Bloomberg's own channel, just to post it later on Telegram, in the Telegram group of this live, or I'll post it on X as well. But it has actually been priced in. So even Wall Street and mega corporations inside the United States have priced in the market that Donald Trump is going to be winning this presidential election. And they priced it in as a positive, as in the market's going to react in a positive way. And he even said, in other words, he said stocks are going to be essentially reacting in a positive way. He said cryptos will be reacting in a positive way. Bonds, everything, the entire market space, stock market or crypto market, is going to be reacting in a positive way. This was mentioned on Bloomberg today, and they said, we've already priced it in. Donald Trump is going to win the election in our point of view, and the market has priced in positiveness everywhere. So, just an honorable mention on when we got to the topic of pricing it, because right now, apparently the market has already priced in Fed rate cuts as well. Analysts forecast that such monetary policies easing could sustain demand for cryptocurrencies. Economic indicators and developments in the labor markets are expected to shape the Fed's decision. Financial markets indicate that investors are likely to see the Fed approach economic stagnance with more caution approach. Bitcoin and other alternative assets may continue to attract interest in the light of potential declines in traditional investments. During this period of ongoing economic uncertainties, the Fed's interest policies and flexible responses to economic shocks remain crucial for investors. The cryptocurrency markets seem poised to evolve further in the light of these developments. So, Feds apparently are still aiming for some sort of a rate cut to be happening in the fourth quarter by the end of this year. The market seems to have priced in a Fed rate cut is on the way. And the market has also priced in Trump winning the election. And it's all going to be reacting in a positive way. Now, knowing that the market is going to be positive towards the end of the year, it's good news. I thought I'll start the live with the good news. Not saying that the live is going to be ending with bad news, but I thought let me just start that one off. So Trump wins, markets up. Wall Street has already priced it in, apparently. And this was a Bloomberg interview that happened today. A member of Wall Street said, market has priced in, Wall Street has priced in, Trump winning, market's going to react in a positive way. So it's massive to see Wall Street saying this on Bloomberg. Everybody in Wall Street listens to Bloomberg like it's gospel. Now, Trust Wallet is what we're going to talk about next. Moving off the essentially topic of Fed rate cuts and Trump winning elections, which is a positive for the entire market space, to Trust Wallet. Apparently, Trust Wallet was compromised. So if you're somebody that uses Trust Wallet right now, and you have used essentially a DeFi tool on Trust Wallet, one particular DeFi tool on Trust Wallet has compromised roughly 200,000 account holders. Now, according to the DeFi tool or the DeFi platform on Trust Wallet, those 200,000 people that were compromised, their account information hasn't been misused yet, but their account is still compromised. So that could be you or could not be you. I'm going to tell you which part of Trust Wallet is compromised right now. Trust Wallet halts Transact on-ramp after data breach. Trust Wallet temporarily suspended Transact fiat to crypto payment services after Miami-based firm suffered a data breach. So if you're somebody that's used on Trust Wallet, essentially SAC, to buy crypto assets, you know, like MoonPay or any other assets, any other platforms like that, where you would use your bank card or Apple Pay to buy crypto through Trust Wallet. Transact is one of the tools that people use on Trust Wallet to buy cryptos directly using their bank cards, and Transact became compromised. According to Transact's official statement, hackers gained compromised credentials through unauthorized access to a third-party employee's laptop. The sophisticated phishing tactic used against a Transact KYC vendor allowed criminals to obtain personal data like names belonging to over 92,554,000 users. More than 5 million people used Transact services, and less than 2% of its users were impacted. But essentially, the impact is a lot more than what they're estimating. Now, per the company's blog post, the firm said it has engaged in law enforcement to help the investigation and disclose plans to contact all affected users. So you could be receiving somewhere down the line an email from Trust Wallet saying your account might be compromised, and it's time for you to switch over and do something. Several digital asset storage providers like Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Ledger, and Coinbase employees use Transact for people to buy with Apple Pay when it comes to crypto or their bank cards. This is a payment service provider for these platforms, for Coinbase, for MetaMask, for Trust Wallet. More crypto wallet companies may pause support till the situation is rectified. Still, the firm stressed that the stolen KYC materials have not emerged as a part of the nefarious activities. A leading cybersecurity firm, currently there is no indications that the data has been misused yet, but they still have your information, whoever it is. However, we advise affected users to remain vigilant and monitor for suspicious activities. So if you're somebody that uses Trust Wallet, if you're somebody that uses essentially Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Coinbase, and Ledger, if you're somebody that uses Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Ledger, and Coinbase, and you use your bank card to buy cryptocurrencies directly through Coinbase, directly through Trust Wallet, directly through MetaMask or Ledger, and you do it through a platform called Transact, which is a platform that these companies support, Transact has just become compromised. So they're telling everybody, if you buy crypto assets through Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Ledger, and Coinbase using your bank cards through the Transact payment service provider, please monitor your accounts. And if you see any sort of suspicious movements on your account, transfers of cryptos without your permission, or buying crypto assets or selling crypto assets without your permission, please report it straight away to customer service if you're using Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Ledger, or Coinbase, and you see suspicious activity in your accounts. Because they don't know really who is essentially compromised. They're looking into it still. But a lot of people are compromised. Currently, there is no indications of the data being misused so far. However, we advise affected users to remain vigilant and monitor for suspicious activities on their own accounts. We will be reaching out to affected users with advice and resources on protecting themselves from potential misuse of their information and offering resources such as identity monitoring services. So, if you're somebody that uses those accounts like Trust Wallet, Coinbase, Ledger, MetaMask, and you buy cryptocurrencies directly using your bank card through the payment option of Transact through these platforms, your account could be compromised. So please start monitoring your crypto transfers, your crypto assets on these platforms, just in case you see a suspicious activity on your account, and you have to report it straight away to Coinbase user base, customer service, or MetaMask customer service, or Trust Wallet customer service, and so on. So keep an eye on your crypto assets. Best option, move them to a private wallet, like an offline wallet, cold wallets. But it's too late now for whoever is compromised. Now, I normally buy my crypto assets if I am going to be doing it through MoonPay, which is the better option. But, you know. Now, the next news topic we're going to talk about, moving off Trust Wallet and Coinbase and everybody else becoming compromised because of a payment service provider, we're going to talk about Coinbase. But before we go through Coinbase news, let's go inside the comment section first. By the way, again, this is a live, essentially. So if you do have any questions, put them down inside the comment section. Do not be shy whatsoever. Let's see what's going on inside the comment section. Even if you're new inside the crypto space, don't be shy. George, hi, Miles, the CMF. Good to see you as well. George, how you doing? Bit late in the group, Miles. Hello, all. Adi, good to see you as well. How you doing? Trump 2024, let's go rotten milk. Donald Trump is not going to win. Most big Republicans that used to support Trump turning their backs on him. To me, it doesn't matter who wins. Fair enough. But according to Wall Street and Bloomberg, he's already won. Miles, you cover so much in detail with your deep research. Thank you so much. You should open up a class to all students from first grade through 80 years old. I appreciate the comment. I appreciate the comment, Golden Dragon. I never do anything on my wallet other than storing crypto. Same. If I want to buy assets, I'm doing it through MoonPay and then transferring it to cold storage as well. Yeah, I tend to keep my wallets offline as well. Now, Coinbase. Coinbase files a FOIA against the US regulators probing banks on crypto crackdowns. Apparently, Coinbase is fed up with Gary Gensler abusing his power, not just with the crypto space, but also with the banking space, by telling banks they can't hold certain assets when it comes to crypto assets, by telling banks they have to hold their crypto assets as liabilities on their bank sheets. So it's annoying for banks, which makes banks inside the United States join the crypto space a little bit later than the rest of the world. So Coinbase has filed 2 Freedom of Information Acts, requesting against the United States regulators, demanding they disclose, among other things, information about the ongoing cryptocurrency crackdowns among US banks. According to Paul, the Coinbase chief legal officer, the Federal Deposits Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, the US agency insuring bank deposits, has reportedly asked banks to cap deposits from crypto companies at 15% of their total deposits. We filed 2 new sets of FOIs requesting in our continued efforts to get any sort of clarity on how regulated agencies are appearing on digital assets. The first is the documents about a digital deposit cap by the FDIC, and the other banking regulators have been imposing on financial institutions. Coinbase filed a second FOIA requesting to learn more about how regulators respond to other crypto-related FOIs in the past, he added. The FDIC formally imposed the deposit caps without first soliciting public comments, which is generally a requirement for the banking regulators under US law, which is facts. Whenever any sort of government wants to do any sort of major movements when it comes to the banking system, or even the SEC, but Gary Gensler doesn't listen to anyone, but when the banks, for example, an organization like the FDIC, when they want to do major movements in the banking system, they're supposed to request for essentially people to comment. Now, this is going to be regular. The retail section can comment on essentially new legislations being passed for the banking system because it affects you as a banker, essentially not as a banker, but as a retail person who uses a bank account. But they didn't. The banking systems for the FDIC just approved certain laws by themselves and said banks can only hold this much of crypto assets and so on, when they're supposed to, within the law, ask for comments. But they didn't. They skipped that step, which is, just goes to show how much manipulation and corruption there really is in the banking space when they skip certain parts of the law to benefit their own agendas. Each of the FIO essential requests is separate from the FOI's filings from over years ago that now the subject of federal lawsuits, said Coinbase. In June, for example, Coinbase filed lawsuits against the US Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and the FDIC for allegedly refusing to comply with previous requests for public disclosures. In 2023, Coinbase asked the SEC to delve into documents relating to the agency's classification of Ethereum. The SEC filed charges against Coinbase in 2023 for allegedly violating securities laws with its ETH staking as service offerings. Isn't that quite, surprising? And the timeline of it is quite interesting, where in 2023, Coinbase filed in essentially against the SEC. And Coinbase's original filing against the SEC was, why is the SEC giving Ethereum a free pass? That is what Coinbase filed against the SEC in 2023. They filed some other things as well, but that's one of the things they filed. Why is the SEC, not commenting on Ethereum? Why are they silent about Ethereum? Why are they giving Ethereum a free pass? Is what they filed in. And straight after, the SEC filed right back at Coinbase and said, you're selling securities. Because Coinbase asked probably a question that they shouldn't have. And the question was, why does Ethereum get a free pass from the SEC? And straight after, the SEC sued Coinbase. Coincidence? Probably not. Spot Ethereum essentially is classified as a commodity by the US regulators, but the regulatory status of Ethereum staking pools is uncertain. Coinbase also sent FOIs to the essentially FDIC demanding information about the pools letters. The agency promptly sent the banks demanding they slow down the growth of crypto-related banking activities. Apparently, once again, multiple times, just to be fairly honest, the FDIC behind the banks of the United States has been skipping certain parts of the law, once again, for their own agendas, by sending secret letters to bankers, telling them to slow down their adoption of crypto assets, and they can only hold certain amounts and no more. This is not within the law, it's just they're sending random letters, bullying banks into doing certain acts. Stand with Crypto, Coinbase's project advocating for common sense, essentially, digital asset regulation, launched a political action committee PAC back in March to support pro-crypto candidates. The November US presidential election pits Republican nominee Donald Trump, who has said he wants to make America the crypto capital of the world. And I do believe Donald Trump will make America the crypto capital of the world, who has essentially come really, and essentially we also have Kamala Harris, who has been very quiet on the crypto space because she has no policies. Kamala Harris doesn't have policies for the traditional market space, never mind having policies for the crypto asset space. But that's what's going on right now in terms of Coinbase. Coinbase is suing once again the SEC and two new filings against the FDIC, which is sending secret letters to bankers when it comes to their crypto assets. And for skipping the law. Now, what we're going to talk about next, moving off the whole banking news and the Coinbase news and the new filings they've done, to Russia and BRICS. So, there's been something going on behind the scenes, and I'm about to tell you what's actually going on, which is Flash Cryptocurrency Initiative step from the Russian government. Here are the details. The Russian government has announced plans to build a new mining data center across the BRICS countries in collaboration with the country's largest cryptocurrency mining operator, BitRiver. Announced at the BRICS Business Forum in Moscow, essentially the initiative involves Russia's sovereign wealth funds, the Russian Direct Investment Fund, the RDIF, and aims to increase Russia's share of global computing power, particularly artificial intelligence technology. Apparently, Russia wants to go full frontal when it comes to AI, essentially AI technology. But not only that, Russia is aiming to build data centers in all BRICS countries. BitRiver, which has already operates 21 data centers across Russia and is currently building 10 more, will partner with the RDIF to expand its footprint into the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The project aims to create an infrastructure base for AI developments, with plans to build energy-intensive data centers capable of supporting large-scale computing projects. This was what was mentioned. Together with the Russian Direct Investment Fund, we will focus on creating a mining infrastructure, building data centers and connecting them with the necessary capacities to enable deployments and essentially implementation of AI-related projects, said Igor, the CEO of BitRiver. Established by the Russian government in 2011, the RDIF has previously co-invested in numerous projects with over 2.2 trillion rubles across various sectors. The RDIF CEO, Krikl Dmitriev, said that essentially developing computing power for AI is top priority for Russia and its BRICS partners. It's top priority now, AI, for BRICS nations. They have a lot of top priorities, to be fairly honest, essentially on the BRICS nations. One of their top priorities is cross-border payments, so they can finally move away from SWIFT. And another top priority, apparently, for BRICS nations is AI, where they're building data centers in all membering BRICS countries, and not just 1 or 2 data centers. No, by the looks of it, hundreds. Dimitri also added that current global shortage of energy-intensive essential data centers present a strategic opportunity for Russia to leverage its experience in the expertise of AI. So it seems like BRICS countries are going to go headfirst into AI technology by the looks of it. Now, they obviously haven't mentioned any sort of AI projects they're aiming for. They're keeping it very hush-hush about that scenario, but they are building massive data centers. So the end result is going to be either they're already working with a few AI projects, or when they build the data centers is when they're going to start working with AI projects. But somewhere down the line, the news will be leaked on which AI platforms they're using. It could be blockchain-related AI projects, or it could be non-blockchain AI projects, which is there is a lot of them, and the majority of them, or all of them, they don't have IPOs. So if there is a particular AI project that's going to be used by the BRICS countries for these massive data centers, it could even be like, essentially AI company that hasn't went IPO yet, which is good to know about, because first in stock market or crypto assets is profit. No financial advice in any sort of a way, but Now, moving off Russia and the BRICS nations, building massive data centers, making AI their top priority alongside their cross-border payments, to Minneapolis. Minneapolis is thinking the same thing essentially as the EU. A few days ago, the European Central Bank released a report. And the report from the European Central Bank stated that essentially they're having issues with Bitcoin. And I revealed this a few nights ago on this live. Essentially, the European Central Bank, not the entire European Central Bank, but some members of the European Central Bank, just to rectify that, are having issues with Bitcoin. They're thinking about imposing high taxes on Bitcoin. They're thinking about even banning Bitcoin in the EU. Picture that one. And their reasoning, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Now, this reason wouldn't make any sense even if you hated Bitcoin. Which is, they're saying people who brought in late into Bitcoin, they're saying people who are buying Bitcoin now, the retail section that's buying Bitcoin now is only feeding more money into the pockets of people who already own Bitcoin. And that is the reason why they want to ban Bitcoin. They're thinking about banning Bitcoin in the EU. Because people who are buying Bitcoin now, in their words, are essentially feeding more money into the pockets of people who already own lots of Bitcoins, which is the most stupidest thing anybody could come up with. And this isn't the first time, the European Central Bank has made some dumb comments. They've made incredibly dumb comments in the past, but this one tops all of them. They essentially described how a market space works. And you can relate this to the stock market as well. When you buy a certain asset on the stock market, essentially, you could buy Apple shares. For example, people who bought Apple shares day one, or people who bought Microsoft shares day one, and then now they're profiting huge amounts of profit since day one until now. And people who are buying now, for example, Microsoft shares, are feeding essentially more money into the people's pockets that already own Microsoft shares from the past. And that's a bad thing, according to the EU. But this is why I'm saying that logic could apply to anywhere. But that's just describing how a market space works. A market space works on the verge of somebody buying, somebody selling. That is how a market space works. So the EU described how a market space works, which is buy, sell. And they said that's a bad thing for Bitcoin. And the retail section should not buy Bitcoin, because buy, sell for Bitcoin is bad when it comes to the retail section. And that is why they're thinking about banning it or putting high taxes on it. And just to give you an indication of one particular country in the EU already thinking about putting high taxes. Italy. Italy is thinking about putting high taxes on Bitcoin. The estimate they came out with is 41%. Italy is thinking about putting 41% or 42% tax on Bitcoin, or tariffs on Bitcoin. So the EU maybe is going to be going towards high, essentially taxing when it comes to Bitcoin. But it's very stupid, their reasoning for doing it. They described how market space works and said, well, Bitcoin's bad in that scenario. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because that happened a few days ago with the European Central Bank. And then Italy a few days ago as well with that 42% tax. And today we have Minneapolis Fed researchers label Bitcoin a threat and suggest heavy taxation or banning in the United States. Minneapolis Fed researchers label Bitcoin a threat. The Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis has recommended a tax or ban on Bitcoin. In a recently published working paper, the Minneapolis Fed described this as a necessary for the government to maintain a permanent primary division. According to researchers, Bitcoin makes it difficult for the government to maintain a essentially permanent primary division because it provides an alternative. However, banning or taxing the flagship asset will fix the problem. It really wouldn't. If you ban something at this level, you're getting left behind. If you ban something at this level, you're going to be creating a black market. That's just how things work. And if you tax something too high at this level, people will start moving away. Or they'll just borrow against their assets and skip on it if they're smart enough, because you can't get taxed on debt. And they will use their Bitcoins as collateral, which is what Wall Street is doing. $1.1 billion worth of Bitcoin ETFs right now has been put on loans. It said a legal prohibition against Bitcoin. This is what it says on that documentation that's been released. From the bank, a legal prohibition against Bitcoin can restore a unique implementation of permanent primary divisions and so can a tax on Bitcoin. The researchers' abstract noted that in an economy where consumers have sufficient risk, it is theoretically possible for the government to implement a permanent primary ban. According to one law inside the United States, apparently, the United States government has the right to ban certain assets if it's putting pressure on certain attributes. However, such implementations fails because of Bitcoin. More primary division is when the government spends more than it generates in revenue, excluding interest on its debts. The US had a primary division of $1.13 trillion in 2024 fiscal year, far below its national debt of $35.7 trillion. By adding permanent, the researchers envision a scenario where the government plans to keep outspending its revenue annually. While this is possible, Bitcoin introduces a balanced budget trap, according to the document, forcing the government to balance its budget. Meanwhile, the paper described Bitcoin as a useless piece of paper. This bank, this is 2024, by the way. This is not, news from 2019 or 2018 with corporations and banks calling crypto or Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme and so on. This is not back then. This is now. This is 2024. A bank has come out inside the United States stating these things on their documentations, that Bitcoin is a useless piece of paper because its value is attached to tangible resources. The researchers noted that Bitcoin represents a metaphor for a private sector security that is in fixed supply and is not a claim to any essential real resources. Despite describing Bitcoin as useless, the paper acknowledged that government securities are not different from Bitcoin, as they only represent a claim to nothing. This compromise essentially does not ignore the government's stock yields and dividends, as the researchers noted that the government ends up printing more claims to nothing at the same rate they will be essentially nominal interest rates. With the comparison established between Bitcoin and the government securities, the researchers fear that Bitcoin could become an alternative to government stocks. Apparently, the banks are in fear mode right now by calling Bitcoin useless or crypto assets useless in general, mostly Bitcoin in this paper, but because they're in fear of Bitcoin becoming an alternative to government stocks. Hence, there is no need for essentially a ban or tax, because if they decide to ban or essentially tax Bitcoin too high, either a black market space will open up, or essentially people will start hiding their transactions. A lot of things can go sideways if they start banning and taxing it. It said, when there are laws against the private sector bubble assets instead, it is easy for the government to design policies that uniquely implement a permanent primary division. Essentially, amusing there is enough essentially risk to make such a division possible in the first place. However, the researchers from the bank also noted that an outright ban is unnecessary as long as the government starts taxing Bitcoin a large enough rate, enabling the continuation of implementation of primary deficiencies, something that Italy is doing right now. A few days ago, this is the timeline of it is crazy, because a few days ago, the European Central Bank came out and said on a study report that Bitcoin should either be high taxed or banned. And then you had a few days ago, essentially on the same time level, Italy thinking about raising the Bitcoin tax, which is in the EU, thinking about raising the Bitcoin tax from 20% to 41 to 42%. And then fast forward a few days, we have the same kind of report coming out of the United States from a different bank. And the Minneapolis Fed research comes only a few days. And the Minneapolis Fed research comes only a few days after the European Central Bank researchers called for a Bitcoin ban or cap on its prices. This seems a bit too coordinated. There's no such thing as coincidence when it comes to the financial sector. There are zero coincidences in the financial sector. This is very coordinated. European Central Bank saying Bitcoin should be high taxed or banned, and a bank inside the United States coming out saying the same thing on their own study reports. They claim that it causes an unequal wealth distribution due to Bitcoin's rise in value by enriching the early holders and making everybody else poorer. So apparently, another reasoning why the government essentially wants to, well, some members in the government, some bank members in the government are thinking about banning Bitcoin, is because they're saying that they care about you not becoming poorer. So the government cares about you being able to afford things, and they want to ban Bitcoin because Bitcoin will make you poorer. I think that holding the dollar will make you more poorer, to be fairly honest. Holding fiat will make you more poor. It's interesting to see, another reason why the government is thinking about, or bankers thinking about banning Bitcoin for people in the retail section is because the bankers care about you. How ironic is that? The bank cares about you. The same bank that trades on your money, the same bank that does fractional reserves, which means they print as well. And the same government that raised inflation, destroyed inflation, let's just say, who raised the price on groceries, raised the price on loans, raised the prices on mortgages. Nobody can afford to buy a house anymore. So the same government that does all of those things to you, not letting you buy a house, raising price on cars, forcing you to drive electric, raising grocery prices, raising gas prices, raising electric prices, is the same government now coming out and saying, we care about you and you should not buy Bitcoin or any sort of crypto assets because we care about you and we don't want you to see you poorer. We want to see you make money. How? By holding fiat. Honestly, that's exactly what, look, Bitcoin's rise in value. So they claim that it causes unequal wealth distribution when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto assets. Unequal wealth distribution due to Bitcoin's rise in value by enriching the early holders and making everybody else poorer. They care, apparently. The government cares about you, even though they've raised all the prices. Unsurprisingly, the crypto community has reacted, noting that it highlights how traditional financial systems see Bitcoin as a threat. Investment strategist Lynn Alden noted that his research might have finally revealed that the unspoken concerns of traditional financial systems about Bitcoin. Meanwhile, VanEck's head of research, Matthew Siegel, noted that the researchers only push for a ban or tax on Bitcoin so the government's debt remains the only risk-free security. He added that the paper finally identifies a problem. Governments have been grappling with consumers, and consumers cannot keep funding government debts when there is an alternative asset to invest in. That is what the issue lies in. You see, apparently governments are starting to feel some sort of fear that nobody wants to feed into their pockets, and people prefer to use digital assets. Now, this isn't just about Bitcoin. This is about crypto in general. It's come to a stage where governments are realizing, or in this case, the United States government is realizing that nobody wants to feed into their debt, and that people are choosing for an alternative asset. If more and more people start choosing alternative assets to feed into, to fund into, then there's going to be nobody left to pay off that massive round figure debt the US has created for itself, or any other country in that matter. And it's not just the US who's doing this. The EU is thinking about doing the same thing. The EU has a massive debt as well. France has a massive debt. Everybody talks about the US debt, but every country has their own debt going on. Obviously, nobody matches up to the US debt, but every country has their own debt going on right now. And the EU realized probably the same thing. If we have alternative assets going around, then how are people going to feed into us? We want people to start, using traditional assets. Now, this could also be another reason as well, to go a little bit just slowly into some sort of a scenario, CBDCs. The EU is coming out with CBDCs next year. The EU is coming out with CBDCs next year. Having a lot of people on crypto assets is not good, because they want more people to use CBDCs in a digital world. Crypto assets give you a freedom in a digital world to do whatever you want still. CBDCs takes away your freedom. The more people they have on CBDCs, the better it is for them to control. So look at the timeline as well. It's always about the timeline as well. It's always coordinated, and it's always about the timeline. The EU is coming out with CBDCs next year, and the EU this year, towards the end of the year, is releasing central bank documents stating that Bitcoin and crypto assets maybe should be higher taxed than banned. At the same time, next year they're coming out with CBDCs. It's also very similar to what I said last year. However, some praised the paper as better technically than the European Central Bank. This is what people were mentioning. Technically much better regarding the Minneapolis Fed paper, what came out of them compared to the EU bank. This model is likely correct, but we have known this all along. This is the whole point. The problem is it will become more obvious. BTC is the escape hatch, or crypto is the escape hatch. And Gensler has also known this. Look at Hillary's speech, same point. Meanwhile, others took the opportunity to refer to earlier works of the Minneapolis Fed, noting that the bank's change in tone. Missouri co-founder Dan noted that the Fed published the Money is Memory paper in 1996, stating that the purpose of money should include the ability to keep records and track all transactions, something that Bitcoin has been able to achieve. So essentially a PDF documentation or a contract was, a law was drafted, and the topic was back in 1996 from the same bank that's stating Bitcoin is useless today inside the United States in 2024. This bank published essentially a paper stating money is memory back in 1996. And on that paper, it basically said that it can only be used as legal tender. Anything can be used as legal tender as long as we could keep a record of it. Anything can be used as legal tender, basically, as long as we could keep a record of it. And they titled it Money is Memory back in 1996. Well, with crypto assets, you can definitely keep a record of it. So it can be used as legal tender. And that's also another threat. In 2023, I said the closer we get to CBDCs, the stricter it will become for you to buy crypto assets. Everybody can recall me saying that if you watched me in 2023. The closer we get to CBDCs, the stricter it will become for you to buy crypto assets. Now, moving off the topic of CBDCs and the EU and a bank inside the United States aligning on the same pattern line to essentially VanEck and Solana is what we're talking about next. But before we do that, let's go inside the comment section first. And by the way, this is a live, so which means if you have any questions, put them down inside the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with any questions you may have. I'll read out your name, and then I'll read out your question and give you an answer. So let's see where we were inside the comment section before we go through the VanEck essentially and Solana news. Let's see where we were at. Mal, let's see where we were. Could you elaborate on MoonPay? You mean Susie? MoonPay is a great platform. To be fairly honest, you can buy crypto assets using your bank card. So you can use your bank card or Apple Pay or Google Pay, if I'm not mistaken, regarding Google Pay. And you can buy crypto assets and then transfer them over into your cold wallets if you want to do, or keep them on there if you want to do as well. But it's an easy alternative to just buy any crypto assets you want using your bank card straight away. MoonPay. It's been around for a while. Miles, Tangent Ring is now available for global shipping. Is it going to boost more secure way for your assets now? Okay, one reason I don't think I'll possibly ever get a Tangent Ring. The only reason I will never get a Tangent Ring is just in case I lose it. Now, I know they'll probably give you a backup ring if I'm not mistaken, there's only one ring. But I don't want to carry this is the only reason. So Tangent released a ring. Now, Tangent is, just to point out, Tangent is an amazing, incredible cold storage wallet platform. No doubt about it. Tangent is an incredible platform to keep your assets secure. 100%, I agree. No financial advice in this way, but I agree with them. But what I don't like is the idea of carrying my crypto wallet around my finger. So Tangent this isn't the Tangent Ring, but imagine as if it is. So Tangent basically released a Tangent Ring where you can carry your Tangent wallet on your finger at all times. That's a stupid idea. The whole point of having a cold storage wallet is nobody knows. But if I'm going to carry my cold storage wallet on my finger wherever I go, that's just alerting everybody I own a cold storage wallet. And you might say, well, how could anybody know that's your wallet on your finger? I think if some time passes, they'll start figuring out that that's not a normal ring, it's a Tangent Ring. The more crypto gets adapted into society, the faster people realize you're carrying a cold wallet on your finger. So the whole point of a cold wallet storage is nobody knows you own a cold storage wallet. So carrying it on your finger is probably the worst idea Tangent came up with. And that's why I say, no, Tangent is an incredible company. When it comes to security, Tangent is top-notch, top tier when it comes to security. Without a doubt, incredible platform. But a cold storage ring is a stupid idea. Most people, if you're smart enough, you don't want other people knowing you have a cold storage wallet. And the last thing you want to do is wear it on your finger. It's about being silent. In life, if you want to do well, be silent. If you want to do well, if you want to sign a new company, do a new contract, start a business, have a cold storage wallet, move in silence. Don't tell the whole world on your finger you have a Tangent wallet. So, on the question of Miles, Tangent Ring now available for global shipping, is it going to boost more secure way for your assets? It's the same thing, it's just on your finger. I wouldn't do it personally. Even Miles, the CMF peeps, hope all is well. Semper, good to see you. How you doing? Be nice if about 15 companies went all after Gary and the SEC all at once. There is, but Gary, yes, the SEC, they don't care. Messi, good to see you. How you doing? Peg, hi Miles and CMF, good to see you. How you doing? Hi, Sir Miles. Good to see you as well. How you doing, Tessie? Grand Rising CMF, Ray, good to see you. How you doing? Any crap is being said to keep retailers out, but we'll stay because we know better. Thanks to you, Miles. Let's go, Mav. Another tactic to scare people so they don't buy crypto assets. Facts. Let's go, JP. Bitcoin's not making us poorer. Our government is. Also facts. Let's go, Semper. I said that last year that the government is going to make it so hard for retailers to buy and sell crypto by freezing accounts, banning exchanges, and high taxes. It's all negative news, means we are entering a bull run. There's also news that we're entering into a CBDC world, but yes. Hey, Miles, I believe CBDCs are definitely coming regardless. I agree 1,000,000%, yes. Nobody can go against CBDCs. No prime minister, no politician, no president. Nobody can go against CBDCs. It's just not possible, because it'd be like going up against the Bank of International Settlements, the World Economic Forum, and the International Monetary Fund. It's not possible. Doesn't matter if you're prime minister or president or any sort of politician. You just get sacked. Or at your own rallies, you will just, What's up, Brother Miles? And any XRP news? Yes, Bill, towards the end, we're going to go for the XRP news. Share the live if you're enjoying it. Let's go. Just joined late home from training. Bill, let's go. How's training, brother? CMF, let's go. If you enjoyed the live, please share it. Let's go. No ring for me. Let's go, Susie. A few days ago, when you said some banks are involved in tokenization because it's a gray area, is it a gray area worldwide or only in the US? When it comes to tokenization, is it gray area worldwide? Mostly yes. When it comes to essentially tokenization, because well, here's the thing: the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, Dubai has a lot of regulations in place, even for tokenization. Singapore has essentially regulations in place for tokenizations, and a few other Asian countries, but the rest of the world has not that many regulations and policies going on for tokenizations. A lot of testings happening on tokenizations, to be fairly honest. A lot of testings, even testings through the Bank of International Settlements, but not much on the regulation side so far. But they're going to be coming anyways. Well, there are a few countries out there that do have tokenization, essentially certain regulations in place, but not all regulations in place. What if you have the ring covered with a silver or golden color? Will it work? No. Because imagine if you lose that ring. There's also the chance of you losing it. You don't want to lose your Tangent wallet. What did Elon said about XRP? So there's a video going around regarding Elon Musk using the words XRP, which was taken out of context, because the full video is somebody asked Elon Musk a question about XRP, which then Elon Musk responded using the words XRP. Now, some people essentially use that as clickbait, essentially, and this isn't good. When you use clickbait information for any asset, it degrades the asset, even though it shouldn't, because the asset is brilliant. XRP is amazing. The XRP Ledger is absolutely amazing as well. But then you have these morons who create segments of certain videos, and by not putting the full context, to portray some sort of a story for clickbait information, which is bad, because once people find out the full context, they go, oh, well, he only said XRP because somebody asked him a question about XRP, which makes it, look bad. It makes XRP look bad, makes the XRP Ledger look bad, it makes Ripple look bad. And people are doing these things, and people should stop. I've said this many times. Stop creating clickbait information. A lot of these influencers and so on, they need to grow up. Simplest way to put it, they need to grow up. If you want to help a certain asset, don't do clickbait information. Share facts, share contracts, share PDF documentations, share about their rewards. Share, there's so many things you can talk about Ripple regarding the Bank of International Settlements that are factual information. There's so much you can talk about Ripple when it comes to their partnerships, their contracts in place, their testings in place. Ripple's won so many awards for cross-border payments. These are the types of information you should be sharing. There's all great news about Ripple and the XRP Ledger. But then you have morons sharing clickbait information, which people watching go, Elon Musk said XRP. But when you watch the full video, he was asked a question about XRP, which makes people, XRP look bad in front of people's eyes because some idiot decided to create a clickbait information. So that's not good. But if you want to share something about Ripple, share the contracts, share the PDF documentations, share all the great news, the awards they've won, and so on. There's so much you can share about them. But don't share clickbait information on any asset. Share the truth. And also, just to point this out as well, there are some people who also manipulate the truth as well sometimes. Be careful about that one. Some people try to say Ripple's not going to do well. Some people, tweet out saying XRP will never be used by Ripple. That's misinformation and incorrect, and also clickbait information. Ripple is going to be used by XRP. It was said 1 million times. And the last time it was a few days ago by Monica Long herself, stating that XRP will be used in her own tweet. But there are people still tweeting that XRP won't be used. So that's also misinformation as well. Just to put it much more simpler, if you want to hear the truth about the crypto space, join into this live. Because there's too much misinformation out there. So if you want to hear the truth, join into this live. Because all I care about is facts. If it's not on paper, then I couldn't care less about it. Do you still, let me see what's going on. What did Elon say? What did Elon said about that's what it was? And do you still feel good about ACH? Do you still feel good about ACH, XLM, XDC, and HBOR? Yes. ACH is an incredible asset. Multiple licensings, multiple contracts. Lots of money transfer licensings, even throughout the United States. ACH is an incredible asset for on-ramps and off-ramps. XLM is an incredible asset as well. XDC, R3 Corda, what more could you say? And HBOR, also incredible as well. All of them, good to go. I agree, me neither. Let's go, Scott. What a clickbait error. Miles thought the same as you about Tangerine Ring. Think about lost it. Yeah. Cuban is not happy with Kamala proposing more tax on capital gains. Yes, I saw the news. Apparently, Mark Cuban is not happy about Kamala increasing essentially the taxes on crypto, on essentially the taxes on tariffs and so on companies. And that's not new news. I'll be honest with you. That's not the new news. That's old news. It's just resurfaced news that came about on some sort of crypto news panels and so on. But it's resurfaced news. That was a while ago. But now Mark Cuban is very pro Kamala Harris and so on. And there's a battle going on between Mark Cuban versus Elon Musk, which is a stupid battle, to be fairly honest. I mean, if we're going to have Elon Musk versus Mark Cuban, obviously Elon Musk is wealthier, more intelligent than Mark Cuban. That's just a given. You can even say that's factual. But also, what's interesting is, so everybody's seeing Elon Musk giving out $1 million. If you haven't, Elon Musk essentially said whoever essentially signs up to this platform, you would get $1 million. They're going to be giving out $1 million every day and so on. And there are people coming out and saying Elon Musk should not be doing this. Elon Musk should not be helping people, is what essentially they're saying, which is the most dumbest thing you could ever say. Do you know what's interesting? A lot of people who say billionaires don't pay tax, billionaires don't help people. A lot of people say this. They say billionaires don't pay tax, the retail section. Billionaires don't pay taxes. Billionaires don't help people. And then when you have a billionaire giving out $1 million every day, those same people that were complaining billionaires don't pay their tax are the same people complaining, saying, why is that billionaire giving out $1 million a day? I mean, how do you respond to that? But there is a battle going on with Cuban and Elon Musk. Maybe, Miles, maybe you should post the PDFs as they come on X so we can share to help eliminate the FUD. No problem. Is HOT still good, Miles? We haven't heard much about it. Yes, HOT is in very hibernation mode, if you want to say. But preferably stick to X when it comes to research. XRP, XLM, XDC, HBOR, ACH, because they're essentially finance related. And keep that one on the sidelines. But it's a legitimate project. Hi, CMF family. Sorry I'm late. Was voting at the polls today. Let's go, Stormy. I think I can take a guess on who Stormy voted for. Now, VanEck Solana ETP in Europe is what we're going to talk about next. activates staking, managing $73 million in assets. One of the biggest drawback to Ethereum's ETF was staking. For some reason, Gary Gensler did not want Ethereum to have staking capabilities, which made Ethereum not an appealing asset, and why Bitcoin's ETF is still doing a lot more better. But VanEck is about to be activating this staking feature, but not for the US market space because they can't. Gary Gensler would never approve that. So VanEck just activated staking for its Solana exchange traded notes ETN in Europe, and is now managing essentially $73 million in assets. Staking lets investors earn rewards without extra effort. The rewards get automatically rolled into the ETN's daily value, so no action is required from investors. Matthew, VanEck's head of essentially digital research, explained the setup. They use a non-custodial approach, keeping everything under tight control. We use physical Solana held by the ETN for staking by instructing the custodians to delegate Solana to the validators. This is going to bring a lot of attention towards Solana if they're going to be, putting staking capabilities for Solana in the European market space. The tokens for essentially, high-profile investors to get involved. The tokens stay in a cold storage with the custodians, reducing essentially the risk of third-party interferences. Staking rewards get added to the ETN's net asset value, NAV, at the end of each day. VanEck isn't taking liquidity lightly. The company has a dynamic risk model that ensures liquidity is always available. Matthew said, because of Solana's shorter epoches, it's actually easier to meet daily redemptions for Solana than it is for ETH. VanEck actually even said, basically in the most simplest way, VanEck said it's actually easier for us to, offer staking capabilities for Solana than it is for Ethereum when it comes to their ETNs or ETPs or ETFs. Everything stays secure with essentially everything, plus a 25% fee is charged in the staking rewards before distribution, but that still leaves plenty of value on the table for the investors. Everything stays very secure with VanEck's custodian managing assets. Solana tokens get staked through a validator, but then reportedly remain in the cold storage wallet for maximum protection. VanEck launched the Solana ETN back in September 2021. It's fully backed and regulated, with the custodian handling everything securely in the European market space. The ETN is incorporated in Liechtenstein. The share price of the VSOL stands at €8.22 essentially cents, which is about $8.93, while the net asset NAV essentially is hovering around $8.21. VanEck is also eyeing the US markets for new staking essentially features, but their recent application to launch their first Solana ETF in the country could be a possible way as well. And while the Europe essentially is enjoying new staking features, VanEck is working hard to bring some offerings across the Atlantic. Is Gary Gensler going to let essentially Solana have staking capabilities, or Solana even have an ETF inside the United States? Is the bigger question. But in the Coinbase case, Solana is technically a security, according to Gary Gensler. In the Coinbase case, and the Kraken case, and the Crypto.com case of the Wells notice that was issued. But yes, Solana file a few of the crypto projects. They're all considered securities according to Gary Gensler. Everything is a security according to Gary Gensler. Even Gary Gensler's own car keys or house keys are primary securities to this man. But here is something that let me just paint you a picture. So the next news we're going to go through. The next news we're going to go through on tonight's live show is regarding the SEC. But it's what the SEC's future is going to be in 2025. If you think the SEC is going to slow down in 2025, you're mistaken. One thing can happen for the SEC to slow down, but according to the SEC, in 2025, they're going to go much more tougher and stricter than they did in 2024. So let me just paint you a little picture of 2025 if Gary Gensler gets to keep his job. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Division of Examinations, has outlined its priorities for the fiscal year of 2025, with increased attention on crypto assets and related products. As the market for digital assets such as Bitcoin and Ether and exchange-traded products linked to cryptocurrencies continues to grow, the SEC intends to closely monitor compliance and regulatory adherence among firms offering these services. The division's examination will primarily assess how registrants handle the offer, sale, and recommendation of crypto assets that may be classified as securities. A particular focus will be placed on ensuring that firms meet their obligations and advising retail investors, especially those involved in retirement investments. The SEC aims to ensure that firms maintain proper understanding and risk management practices for digital assets that they deal with. The oversight will also extend to compliance with the Bank's Secrecy Act and firms' handling of crypto asset custodies, valuation, and related disclosures. The division plans to review how firms update their practices in response to the evolving market risk and assurance of operational resilience in such areas as data integrity and business continues. As blockchain technology and distributed ledger systems become increasingly central to crypto markets, the SEC will examine technological risk and their impact on security measures. So apparently the SEC is still not giving up the title securities, even in 2025, as they're going to go much more harder. This includes assessing whether firms are adequately protecting investors' assets and ensuring the integrity of their operational frameworks. Ensuring the integrity of their operation. Does the SEC even know how to spell integrity? This man waited for the last day to appeal the Ripple case. When the SEC originally, essentially, decided to sue Ripple, the backstory was Ripple went to the SEC. They had a very nice meeting. Ripple leaves the SEC sues them. The man that sued Ripple from the SEC left the SEC within 24 hours and started his own blockchain company. This man has wasted everybody's time inside the market space, essentially appealed cases on the last day. He's done so many errors. He's lied in court. His department, his SEC department, has lied to a judge in the courts by telling a judge that a certain crypto platform by the name of Debitbox is using people's assets, transferring people's assets outside the United States, and you should freeze their bank accounts. So wherefore the judge froze their bank accounts and then said to the SEC lawyers, what's your proof? And they said, proof? What's that? Which made the two SEC lawyers get fired, the department closed down, and the SEC had to pay a fine. There's so many massive amounts of errors the SEC has done. That's just a very small example. For them to be writing some sort of a document saying the markets and the crypto firms should be upholding their integrity. How about you hold up your integrity, Gary Gensler? How about the SEC have some integrity? The SEC's focus on crypto asset-related services highlights its ongoing efforts to address potential risk and safeguard investors' interest in a rapidly evolving financial landscape. There's not a single person inside the crypto space that wants the SEC's protection. So with the SEC saying we're here to safeguard investors' interest, no, you're not. There's not a single person inside the crypto space that wants Gary Gensler's protection. In fact, I'll take it another step further. His own employees don't like him. Because Congress, about a week back, essentially did a sit-down. Not about a week back, sorry. A few days back. Congress did a sit-down with Gary Gensler. And his employees were testifying against his actions, saying Gary Gensler is not representing the agency. He's representing his own agendas. And that was the same day Gary Gensler went back into the office after being torpedoed by Congress and his employees telling him, you're on the wrong path. He decided to go back to his office and appeal the Ripple case. So nobody inside the crypto space wants Gary Gensler to safeguard us. And his own employees don't want him. Congress doesn't want him. So who is he exactly, essentially protecting in this moment in time? Because Congress doesn't want his protections. His own employees don't want him there. And nobody inside the crypto space likes him. So who are you protecting, Gary Gensler? Genuine question. But it's nice to see, essentially Gary Gensler and the SEC trying to make some BS documents telling us or telling crypto firms, hold up your integrity. From a man that waits until the last minute to appeal a case. From a man that runs an agency that sues random crypto platforms without any evidence. From a man that his employees hate. And these are just some examples. Integrity, please. But yeah, apparently Gary Gensler wants to go much more stricter in 2025. Now, two ways it could go. One, Donald Trump wins the election and Gary Gensler is jobless. Or two, Kamala Harris wins the election and Gary Gensler keeps his job. Which means this man is going to be a headache for everybody for another 4 years. It's very simple. Trump wins, Gary's jobless. Trump loses, Gary's a headache for another 4 years. BlackRock is what we're going to talk about next. Moving off the moronic documentation released from the SEC, telling everybody else about integrity, as if they have any. To BlackRock. BlackRock's $26 billion Bitcoin ETF, crowned fastest growing fund ever. Wall Street's demand for Bitcoin products surged last week, with $1.1 billion in cash captured by BlackRock's spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund. Bitcoin has become a major focus in the US wealth management heavyweight BlackRock as its spot Bitcoin ETF outpaced several traditional finance offerings. Investors have injected $26 billion, according to new numbers, into BlackRock's essentially IBIT 10 months after the spot Bitcoin ETFs debuted mid-January. The fund has broken into the top 2% of all ETFs inside the United States. And last week, inflows marked another milestone for BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. BlackRock's IBIT accounted for half of the $2.2 billion in inflows recorded by the US spot Bitcoin ETFs between October 14th and October 18th. The $1.1 billion of inflows buoyed IBIT to the third highest flows year to date. It was also IBIT's best week since March, confirming its status as the fastest growing ETF on Wall Street and in the financial history. The success of US spot Bitcoin ETFs has gathered consistent media attention and sparked policy discussions around Bitcoin as an asset, while similar discussions surrounding Ethereum spot Ether ETFs have seen more modest milestones compared to their Bitcoin counterparts. BlackRock's IBIT alone have overshadowed the $7.35 billion deposited into the entire spot Ethereum ETF array. However, Bitwise's CIO Matt Hogan essentially believes that Ethereum ETFs will ultimately succeed. Matt Hogan also noted that while insurers may have brought Ethereum ETFs to the market too early, Ethereum's expanding ecosystem and appeal to institutional investors through its smart contract capabilities will likely attract more capital to ETH funds in the coming years. Existing crypto funds have also encouraged new filings for digital asset ETFs. Bitwise submitted paperwork through the Securities and Exchange Commission for XRP ETFs and Bitcoin essentially ETFs. Canary Capital, also a firm started by Valkyrie's founders, also filed in for a spot ETF essentially for Litecoin as well, which is also true. But those are the new figures coming out of BlackRock. Essentially $6 billion. The Bitcoin ETF coming out of BlackRock is the fastest growing ETF in the world, which is massive. Massive. Now, what we're going to talk about next is the EU. The European Union has decided to boost blockchain in a positive way by creating something they're calling Trusted Investors Network. Before we go through that news, let's go to the comment section. This is a live, which means if you do have any questions, don't be shy, put them down inside the comment section. I'm reading everyone's questions one by one. I read out your name first, and then I read out your question and give a short, sweet, simple answer to everyone. So let's go to the comment section first before we go through the next news, which is regarding the EU creating something called the Trusted Investors Network to boost blockchain adoption and blockchain companies. Let's see where we were at. Hi, Sir Family. So I'm late. Was voting posted. Let's go, Stormy. Good information again tonight. Let's share the live. Let's go, Scott. If you find this information beneficial, share the live. Let's go. Tangent just for topic. Miles, is it safe to stake ETH on Ledger? If you want to, sure. You know, if you want to stake your assets, why not? Staking is not a bad idea. I mean, you help the network when you stake and you get a reward for that. But if your assets are not staking, then they're fully offline. If they're staking, then they're not offline. Remember that one as well. Hello, Miles and CMF. Glender, good to see you as well. How you doing? So, EU. EU launches Trusted Investors Network to boost VC investments in tech. The European Union is increasing efforts to draw more venture capital money into its tech sector to keep the pace with the essentially booming innovations inside China and the United States. The EU not the United States, but the EU wants to compete with China when it comes to tech. It's going to be quite difficult, I'll be fairly honest. China is well more above advanced than the EU ever is when it comes to tech. But here it is. The EU Commissioner, Liana, announced the launch of Trusted Investors Network. During a meeting with the Greek Prime Minister, the initiative aims to support startups and boost investments in the tech sector across the EU. The Trusted Investors Network focuses on attracting venture capital investments, particularly in the fields of biotechnology and semiconductors, for artificial intelligence deployments. According to retainers, the EU has gathered 71 investors across the continent with over 90 billion euros, $98 billion in other words, worth of assets signed onto an initiative committing to invest in European deep tech capabilities. But Europe's not messing about either. I mean, they have a big budget. Ivana also highlighted the such developments in a series of expos. She stated the EU joins forces with investors to supercharge deep tech startups and scale innovation through co-investments with the European funds, shaping the future of European deep tech. The venture capital agreements align with the recommendations from the European Central Bank report, which urged faster and larger investments in Europe's tech sectors to maintain its competitiveness. Europe has also been active in its efforts to essentially secure throughout and adequate regulations relating to its tech sectors. It claims that having such guidelines in place will companies and developers exist and innovate safely in the marketplace. Recently, efforts include the passage of the EU's AI Act and Markets in Crypto Asset Regulations, MiCA. On October 1st, the EU, for example, gathered a group of global experts to draft a code of practice for AI. The launch of its Trusted Investors Network in Greece highlights the country's growing role in the tech and innovation sector. One EU Innovation Council-supported projects, Dronomics, introduced essentially the region's first cargo drone airline in Greece. Greece is also opening up a new $330 million AI data center in November, thanks to its investments from the Paris-based company Data4. The data center is expected to make significant contributions to the local economy and digital ecosystems, and follows Microsoft's investments in similar projects, which was announced back in 2020 and recently gained ministerial approvals. In October 2023, also the Greek government announced the creation of an AI advisory committee to help and decide on the national strategies, which compromises some of the country's top ethics, top tech, and science professionals. So the EU essentially is focused heavily on funding new startup companies related to AI, related to Web3, related to blockchain, and so on. But if you are somebody right now who has amazing ideas or wants to start up a blockchain company or an AI company, perfect timing, because the EU is giving out money hand over fist. So if you do want funding if you're somebody that's trying to create a Web3 AI or blockchain business, startup company, and you're looking for funding, the EU is offering a lot of money right now to anybody that can bring some tech into the EU. All the doors are open. But it's also good to see for the adoption rate as well. Now, moving off the EU going headfirst into AI technology and anything else, to XRP Ledger. What we're going to talk about next is the XRP Ledger. Before we do that, let's go to the comment section first. Miles, I sent you a DM seeking your thoughts on some crypto information. Scott, I'll take a look at it after this live show. Apologies, Scott. I'll take a look at it after this live show. Sorry about that, brother. Did I miss something? What happened with Tangent? Nothing's happened with Tangent. Tangent released that ring where you can carry your cold storage wallet on your finger. And I said it's a bad idea because the whole point of having a cold storage wallet is that nobody's supposed to know. Not wear it on your finger 24/7. But there's nothing wrong with Tangent. Tangent was an amazing platform, very secure. I said the ring idea was a bad idea. Now, XRP Ledger. XRP Ledger now available on MetaMask. Official essentially, the company behind building the XRP Ledger announced today that this blockchain is now available on one of the biggest non-custodial crypto wallets, MetaMask. The announcement means that the XRP Ledger Snap is now available on MetaMask. In other words, you can now access the XRP Ledger through MetaMask's interference. With over 30 million monthly active users, MetaMask integration with the XRP Ledger marks a significant step forward for the ecosystem. The integration allows users to connect the XRP Ledger with just one click through MetaMask, streaming the process of creating and managing XRP Ledger assets. Users can now easily create and manage accounts on the XRP Ledger, effectively bringing the gap between the XRP ecosystem and MetaMask's extensive user base. The Snap comes with support for both the XRP Ledger mainnet and test features, ensuring comprehensive functionalities for both users and developers. Any decentralized applications can integrate the Snap, enabling platforms to connect to the XRP Ledger and handle transaction signings. The XRP Ledger Snap transforms MetaMask into a fully functioning wallet for the XRP Ledger. Similar to the Ledger hardware wallets, users can now sign transactions directly on the XRP Ledger through MetaMask familiar interferences. The integration enables users to manage their XRP Ledger assets seamlessly without the need of blockchain bridges. For those preferring the web-based solutions, a dedicated web wallet is also available. This alternative provides another way to interact with the XRP Ledger through MetaMask integration and making the ecosystem more accessible to different users and preferences. Looking ahead, essentially, the XRP Ledger has indicated potential plans for the bridge of integration into the future updates. While the current implementation focuses on basic wallet functionalities, future developments might expand to include broader interoperability features between XRP Ledger and other blockchain networks. So, XRP Ledger now good to go basically on MetaMask, which is going to add a lot more huge user base to the XRP Ledger, which is a positive note all around. Now, moving off the MetaMask and XRP Ledger announcement, which is quite big, to one of the biggest and one of the oldest pension fund companies in the United Kingdom is joining blockchain. One of the biggest, one of the oldest pension funds in the United Kingdom. Legal and General, L&G, managing $1.5 trillion, plans to enter blockchain tokenization joining firms like BlackRock and Urbidum and so many more other companies. Legal and General, L&G, a pension and investment management company based in London, with assets under management totaling $1.5 trillion, is gearing up to make its entry into the sector of blockchain-based tokenization. This aligns L&G with major traditional financial players such as BlackRock and Franklin Templeton and Urbidum, which have already launched financial products powered by blockchain technology. Tokenization, the process of converting traditional assets such as US Treasuries, backed money market funds into crypto tokens on a blockchain, is increasingly adapted by mainstream, essentially, financial firms. This trend was notably accelerated by BlackRock's launch of its Build fund on Ethereum's blockchain when BlackRock did it, demonstrating the viability of blockchain technology in conventional financial operations. Once one company does it, the rest will follow, as I always said. Ed Wicks, the global head of trading at Legal and General Investments Management, stated, "We are evaluating ways to make the legal and general investment management liquidity funds available in tokenized formats." So they're right now looking into it, which means they're active. It's not something they're thinking about, they're actually going for it. He expressed that digitalization of the funds industry is essential for enhancing efficiency, reducing costs, and making diverse investment solutions more accessible to a broader audience. Do you know what this does? Go on, but do you know what this does? I'll put it to you this way. BlackRock for the United States is a massive company that everybody follows. Once BlackRock does something, everybody else follows inside the United States and around the world, to be fairly honest. When this company, essentially inside the United Kingdom, does a movement like that, every other company in London, in United Kingdom, on their level or below their level, is now going, maybe we should go into blockchain as well. Is basically what's going to happen. They just started something in the UK, and everybody else in the UK is now going to follow them. Small or medium or large corporations in the United Kingdom are now going to follow this company. They're going to follow their movements, and they're going to follow their actions, and they're also going to get involved. This is what this does. Digitalization of funds industry is key to improving efficiency and reducing costs and making a broader range of investment solutions available to essentially a wider range of investors. We look forward to continued progress in this space, said Wicks. The adoption of tokenization promises to streamline operations and essentially potential broadening access to premium investments opportunities that were previously available primarily to wealthy individuals or institutional investors. This technological advancement is expected to simplify the investment process for all investors. L&G's interest in blockchain technology began in 2019 when the firm announced it would use Amazon's web service management blockchain system to handle and document bulk, essentially, for insurance businesses. The first time they entered into blockchain was through Amazon, which you can't really count it as blockchain. But the first time they entered into blockchain was 2019 when they went for Amazon for data storage purposes, for documentations. But now they're taking a bigger step. They're bringing their $1.5 trillion essentially portfolio to the blockchain space. That's a big step, from PDF documentations on Amazon data centers to $1.5 trillion of assets coming to the blockchain space. This early adoption underscores L&G's commitment to integrating advanced technology to improve its operations and offerings. It's massive. It's absolutely massive. This is basically BlackRock of UK joining essentially the blockchain space. Everybody in the UK right now, every mega corporation, medium-sized companies, small companies are now looking at this company. They're looking at L&G's movements now. Whatever they do next, they're all going to follow in the UK now. This is what we needed. We needed one big mega corporation to stand up and for the rest to follow like ants. That's just how it works in the UK. That's how it works in any essentially corporate sector. All it takes is for one ginormous company to stand up and go, we'll do it. And everybody else, every other company around them, they'll just follow them like ants wherever they go. Simplest metaphor to put of how the corporate sector actually operates. Now, what we're going to be talking about next is Ripple. Moving off that incredible news regarding the United Kingdom to, and it's going to bring a lot of money to the blockchain space, by the way, an incredible amount of money to the blockchain space. It's going to bring a lot of eyes on the blockchain space. A lot of UK corporations are now going to be looking at essentially the blockchain space. The Financial Conduct Authority inside the United Kingdom will also probably start easing on their rules and regulations and bring out some better rules and regulations. Thank God we don't have Gary Gensler inside the United Kingdom. So they're going to be bringing out a lot more better regulations in the UK because of LNG coming inside the crypto space. They're probably going to be start greenlighting ETFs in the UK as well. So you have to, a lot of things are going to happen because of this. What LNG have done in the UK, the simplest way to put it, is create a ripple effect. See, it's a nice way of playing with the words there. But essentially, what LNG have done by announcing these things today is by essentially creating a ripple effect. Think of it as a river. You throw a rock inside of it, and it creates a ripple effect. Everybody in the UK, mega corporations, businesses, legislations, policies, politicians, the FCA, now they're all looking at LNG. Okay. This is interesting. They've created a ripple effect. Before we go for the Ripple news, ironically, which is Ripple news next, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see what's going on there. By the way, again, this is a live, which means if you have a question, put it down to the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. Don't be shy. So even if you're new inside the crypto space, introduce yourself as well. Let's see where we were. Hi, this guy. How you doing? Legal and general. Wow, crypto is the future. Yes, Hyper Sniper, good to see you. Why you doing? Crypto is unpredictable. I agree, but life is unpredictable as well. We are in the future, Hyper Sniper. Yes, we definitely are, and we're getting much more closer to that digital future of other. But on Journey's question, crypto is unpredictable. Everything's unpredictable. Your entire life is unpredictable. Stock market is unpredictable. Real estate market is unpredictable. War is unpredictable. Medication is unpredictable. Too many side effects. Everything around you is pretty much unpredictable. You can slip on something and pass away. You can cough too many times and die. Life in general is unpredictable. Don't move in life with fear. Now, Ripple is what we're talking about next. XRP network experiencing unusual activity spikes. Now, what I'm talking about is not transaction volumes, because you would have seen the price difference. No, what I am talking about is wallets. There's a massive spike happening in wallets. Some unusual data has been observed recently on the XRP Ledger. The blockchain network on which Ripple XRP, one of the most popular cryptocurrencies, operates on, there's a lot of activities happening. According to analysis published essentially by a crypto analytic firm, Sentiment, the number of active wallets on the XRP Ledger has seen a massive jump recently as well. The data shows that 35,799 unique cryptocurrency wallets on the network, on the XRP Ledger, have made at least one transaction in a day, the highest number in the last 3 months. In addition, and even more interestingly, 3,858 of those new cryptocurrency wallets were created on the XRP Ledger in one day. So we're coming up next year is a CBDC. Next year is when we're going to be entering into a CBDC world. The same way I told everybody in 2023, when 2023 was ending, and I said, 2024 is the start of the world transforming into a digital era. I said a lot of things are going to be happening in 2024 regarding the banks and institutions, directors, executives, regulations, policies, so on. And some countries releasing CBDCs. This was essentially happening in 2024. But 2025 is when we enter into a CBDC world. A lot of countries are releasing their CBDCs. And as an appeal situation is going on, 3,858 new wallets were created in one day on the XRP Ledger, and 35,799 unique cryptocurrency wallets on the network made a transaction every single day accordingly. Why is there that many wallets being created in one particular day? The fact that these two data points jumped up one day apart raised questions about whether a new wave of increased activity was coming on the XRP network. Recently, the SEC essentially appealed the Judge Torres decision in the Ripple case, and Ripple announced that it would file a cross appeal in the case. The reason for the increased activity may be expected in terms of new developments coming from the case. In the simplest term, that basically means that something might be happening behind the scenes for that jump up to happen. In other words, maybe the market has also priced in the SEC losing that appeal. The same way Wall Street today on Bloomberg announced they priced in the market that Donald Trump will win. Bloomberg priced in Donald Trump will win, which means they can see where the market is going, which means they can put their bets down on the market, simplest way to put. The same way that also today they announced that the Wall Street is also priced in the Fed interest rates, and so have the bankers, which means they know where to put their bets down. Could it be that they've also priced in that the SEC's appeal is going to get tossed out? Hence, while it was 2 days apart, that many wallets were created in one day. Never happened before. Also, what we're going to talk about now is relatable to Ripple as well. So Chris Lawson has been making investments towards Kamala Harris's campaign, which raises many questions, but I can answer a few of them, the genuine ones. One is that Ripple is playing both sides, which they should do. As a business, you play both sides. Let's go to the comment section first before I answer that question, because there's comments coming through right now. Let me answer that before we go through Let me answer the comment section before we go through the news regarding Brad, Chris Lawson, Kamala Harris, and Donald Trump. What's getting interesting is what he says. Let's go. Share the live. Let's go, Scott. Share the live. Miles is sharing some good information. Let's go, Scott. But if XRP volume is why the price is not jumping, but if the XRP volume is jumping, the XRP volume is not jumping. The XRP wallet is jumping. The amount of use is why I said at the beginning when I was reading it out, I said essentially that it's not in terms of transactions. I said it's in terms of wallet registrations. So I said some unusual data has been observed recently on the XRP Ledger blockchain network, on which the XRP, one of the most popular cryptocurrency, operates on. According to published analytics firm Sentiments, the number of active wallets on the XRP Ledger has increased in one day. 3,858 wallets were created. Essentially, one day apart, 35,799 transactions were made. Now, if you can't see a jump happen on the crypto assets, that means the inflows and outflows were pretty much balancing each other out. Hence, you won't be able to see a price jump. But today, XRP was up 3%. The same day today was the 3,858 wallets, basically. But yeah, sometimes when you don't see assets jump in price values because the inflows and outflows are pretty much balancing themselves out. It's just, a transfer of assets happening. And the inflows and, essentially outflows are balancing themselves, which means you won't see that price jump. Same way you will see Bitcoin essentially climbing, and the same way you would see BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF portfolio get bigger and bigger and bigger, but the price of Bitcoin is not changing. So what's going on there is inflows and outflows are just balancing each other out. Obviously not every day, but in some particular days, they're balancing each other out. So it's just the transfer of assets happening on the same level. And you won't see a price jump. It's just transfer of assets happening. As in the buys and sells are pretty much matching each other out. The XRP volume is jumping, why is the price not jumping? That's right. Someone inside must be manipulating the price while the market cap going up, but the price going down. I'll be dancing like Dorothy in the Wiz if the SEC suit gets thrown out. Let's go, Stormy. Now that instruction knows that the SEC is not appealing XRP for securities. We will see more adoption. Yeah, I agree. Now, Ripple CEO's Brad essentially discusses Chris Lawson's political donations. So on the news, it's been going around that Chris Lawson has been donating to Kamala Harris, which is not the full story. Some people are, tweeting about this, making a joke out of this, saying, what are XRP Ledger users going to do? Vote for Kamala Harris now because Chris Lawson is donating to Kamala Harris. So some people have been tweeting out some ridiculous tweets. I'm here to, as I said, as always, if you want to hear the truth, just tune into this live. I don't like clickbait information. I'm too grown for clickbait information. So here's the truth. They're playing both sides. Ripple CEO Brad commented on Chris Lawson's essentially $10 million donation to Kamala Harris's campaign. While essentially appreciating Chris Lawson's decision, Brad emphasized that Ripple does not support any political party regarding cryptocurrency regulations. Brad stressed that regulating essentially the cryptocurrency industry should not be a political issue. He expressed that both Democrats and Republicans should acknowledge that blockchain technology and digital assets can help transform financial systems. He stated, we need to immediately change this administration. Misguided war on crypto, asserting that Ripple will continue to collaborate with essentially we need to immediately change this administration. Misguided war on crypto. Asserting that Ripple will continue to collaborate with both parties. This statement aligns with Ripple's ongoing legal efforts to establish better regulations for cryptocurrency companies in the United States without legal hurdles. Chris Lawson's financial contribution to Kamala Harris received mixed reactions. Some appreciated, while others expressed negativity within crypto circles. Claims arose that donations to politicians distract from actual public, essentially, issues. One user remarked, life is not just about crypto. Brad voicing concerns over healthcare and other essentials. This view aligns with the debate over the impact of lobbying in the crypto industry on society prioritizing self-interest. A significant topic of discussion for Ripple and its essentially executives is the regulatory landscape inside the United States, particularly with the SEC's role. Brad has criticized the SEC chairman Gary Gensler for his tough stance, arguing that the lack of clear guidance stifles innovation. Speculation has arisen about potential changes inside the SEC leadership if essentially Trump is elected. Georgetown law professor Chris Brommer and PCAOB chair Erica Williams are among the candidates considered to succeed in Gary Gensler's position. Brad also mentioned that regardless of election outcomes, Ripple will continue to engage with both political parties. He emphasized that party lines do not matter. What is important is supporting policies that promote blockchain and crypto innovation. The impact of Ripple on cryptocurrency sector and how regulatory developments shape the industry is closely monitored. The organization's strategy to support both parties could determine the future of cryptocurrencies in America, which is, yes, it's facts. Look, Ripple is playing both sides. So this is one thing, a lot of people say the crypto sector won't tell you. Everybody, shares the news. Chris Lawson donates to Kamala Harris. Oh no, our XRP Ledger people are going to be voting for Kamala Harris now. So it's the dumbest thing ever. What they're essentially doing is playing both sides, because there's always two sides to every story. The other side is Ripple has also made donations to Donald Trump. That part's not on the news though, is it? The part that Chris Lawson donates to Kamala Harris makes the news. The part that Ripple donates to Donald Trump's campaign doesn't make the news. But Ripple has been donating to both political parties because it's just how politics works. They're playing both the odds. Whoever wins, they're behind them. That's just what you do as a company that wants to make change. You don't know what the outcome is going to be. They try to take out one president multiple times, and the other one just doesn't answer questions. And every time you ask her, so Kamala Harris, how are you going to save inflation? You know, I was born in a middle-class family and all that. So you have one moron who can't answer a simple question, and then you have another president that's just been taken out. So one president is going for a Rambo situation. You have Sylvester Stallone's type of situation, and then you have another president who can't answer a basic question. So Ripple's just playing the odds. He's playing both the odds just in case one doesn't make it to the podium, and then the other one does. So they're funding Kamala's campaign. Ripple is funding Kamala's campaign and Trump's campaign. But the Trump part doesn't make it to the news. So that's the other side of the story. They're playing both sides of politics. Just how politics works. Now the instructions know that the SEC is Kamala, basically, Davey. So what I am going to say now is all good things must come to an end, which is now. This is the endings of tonight's live show. This was the CMF Live. If you're watching it for the first time ever, welcome to CMF Live, but this is the ending now. If you're watching it for the first time ever, my name is Miles. I go by the persona of Crypto Miles, and this was CMF Live, which stands for Crypto Miles Family. Join the Telegram if you already haven't of this live. It's completely free. Tune into this live every single night on essentially X Live or on YouTube Live around 11:25 p.m. onwards UK time. Follow me on X if if you're watching this live show for the first time ever. Follow me on X if you already haven't. Subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you already haven't, tune in every single night. Also join the X communities page we have for this live as well. It's completely free. Just want to point out, I've been essentially sharing crypto for roughly 2 years on live every day, pretty much. Completely for free. And I will be sharing crypto knowledge completely for free until the end of eternity. So you never have to worry about me. I'm a lot more educated than my peers inside the crypto space. I'm a lot more educated than my peers inside the crypto space. I have a background in the corporate sector, which I'm still in, and I have a background in business, finance, tech, and law, and cybersecurity. So join this live, drop a follow, drop a like, tune into it every single night. It's completely free. It's free for eternity. You can join a Telegram group of this live as well, also free, amazing place to be. And you can join the X communities page of this live. The X communities page is on my X profile. If you go to it and click on it and join X communities, also free, full life, amazing place to be in. Everybody's incredible. And on tonight's live, we went through Ripple's Brad's perspective. We went through essentially legal and general's perspective of entering the crypto space, a $1.5 trillion pension fund from the United Kingdom entering the crypto space. It's like BlackRock for the United Kingdom entering the crypto space, which is massive. And then we talked about the XRP Ledger, essentially on MetaMask as well. And then we also went through the news topic regarding the EU launching a platform called Trusted Investors Network for blockchain-related projects. And then we talked about BlackRock's $26 billion Bitcoin ETF, crowned the fastest, essentially, ETF in the entire world. And also, we went through the news topic regarding the SEC of what their plans are going to be in 2025. We also talked about VanEck Solana ETF offering crypto, essentially staking services in the European market space, and how VanEck is thinking about introducing this everywhere else. We also talked about on tonight's live regarding the matters of Minneapolis and Fed researchers' bank report on Bitcoin and crypto and taxing. We also talked about essentially the Russian government going headfirst into crypto assets. We also talked about Coinbase filing in 2 FOIAs against the US SEC and the FDIC. We also talked about trust wallets getting compromised on tonight's live and how you can, not get compromised on trust wallet or Coinbase wallet and so on. And we also talked about the Federal Reserve members in terms of rate cuts. So Drop a like, drop a follow, drop a retweet if you already haven't on this live on X. Subscribe on YouTube if you already haven't. You're watching us on YouTube. Like on YouTube. Drop a comment outside of the live video on YouTube. Drop a comment outside of the live on the X video as well. Turn your notification bells on. 5 minutes before I go live, I normally tweet, essentially, put a Telegram post as well. So join Telegram if you already haven't. Join the X communities page if you already haven't either. Let's go to that conversation. Let's see what's going on here. Thank you, Miles. Mike, let's go. Let's see tomorrow as usual. Do you think the price of gold will go down if Trump wins? Nope, it will go back up. We'll go higher, actually. David, let's go. Mike, see you tomorrow, brother, same time as usual. Great live, Miles, as usual. Good night, Miles, at CMF. Jason, see you tomorrow, brother, same time as usual. Great live. Take care, Miles, at CMF. Ray, see you tomorrow, brother, same time as usual. Thank you a bunch. Good night, family. Lena, let's go. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Good night, Miles. David, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Good night, brother. Good night. Great job, Miles. You have been doing it for free for 2 years. I'm an OG. Thanks for all you do, Miles. Miles is the real deal. He is free to never ask for anything. Facts. Let's go, Scott. See you tomorrow, but at the same time as usual. Thanks, Legend, for your unique perspective. Let's go, Shelly. See you tomorrow, sometimes usual as well. It's like BlackRock give money to the invader and the defender, basically. Orphan, see you tomorrow, sometimes usual as well. Share the live. Let's go, Scott. Great show. Let's go, Susie. See you tomorrow, sometimes usual. Night and day, CMF. Shelly, let's go. Good night, Miles and CMF. Great live. Thanks. Free forever. See you tomorrow, brother, sometimes usual. This is the best family online, bar none. Let's go, Scott. See you tomorrow, brother, sometimes usual. Thanks, Miles. Have a good night, everyone. Orphan, see you tomorrow, sometimes usual. Good night, Miles, and all CMF. Thank you for all the news. JP, see you tomorrow, brother, sometimes usual. Thanks, Miles, for all you do for our family group daily. Scott, thank you so much for the kind words, bro. See you tomorrow, sometimes usual. Addy, just as no. Good night, good night, brother Miles and CMF family. Frankie, brother, see you tomorrow, sometimes usual. Thank you, Miles. Scott, see you tomorrow, sometimes as usual. Thank you, Miles. Anna, see you tomorrow, sometimes as usual as well. Miles, the GOAT among influencers. Let's go. Scott, see you tomorrow, brother, sometimes as usual. I will see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a great night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. See everybody tomorrow, same time as usual.